All right, so we live. All right, so we live. Let me share the link. In the meanwhile, let's see. Let me share the link. Actually, we on before time. We 1 minute early. So as you come in, folks, share the link to your friends, to your group chat. All right, so how do I share? Oh, so share the link to your group chat. Let me share it. Right, share, copy. All right, so as you come in, just share the link, share the link to your group chat. We are live. Very important CSEC mathematics revision live. This live could probably help you to get either a grade 1 or cross you over from that grade 4 boundary. All right, we have a few specialists here with us. Let me just share this live in a few group chats. All right. All right. Good night, everyone. Oh, we have a lot of courses in the chat already. Good night. Good night. Where are you? Which school are you from? Which school are you from? Where are you watching us from? All right, so in a few minutes we'll begin. Let me just share this into one more group. All right, good. So that is it. So, all right, so you have some people from Sand Creek. Really dope. All right, love to see it. Golden Grove, Covent Garden. All right. No, so welcome everybody to our second revision session. Um, I trust that we all will, this session will be very fruitful. The aim is to help you be prepared by helping ourselves get prepared as well for the exam. So we normally start off by asking how many more days until the CSEC mathematics exam. So the last time we had the live, everybody was saying that they wanted anyway, the last time everybody was saying they wanted a face reveal, so we have a face reveal. All right, so how many more days do we have until the CSEC math exam, by the way, folks? In the chat and Parsons on the live with me. How many more days until the exam? Anybody has the count? I think it should be in the 20s now. Orbis Educational Institute. Anybody give me the count? How many more days, folks? Yeah, I should have this number at the tip of your tongue.
26 then.
Oh,
26 more days until the CSEC mathematics exam. So that means we have 26 more days of being prepared and preparing ourselves. As a long time or a short time, depends on how you look at it. Anyway, so let's not waste any more time. Let's head straight into the list of questions. So I sent out this list of questions to make the live even more interactive and better. The idea was that persons can work the questions before and come and see how we will work it and go through the ones that you don't understand. All right, so I trust that everybody on the live got an opportunity to see that document and answer some of the questions. All right, so let's go. So let me head straight into the first set of questions. So we'll start off by answering a variety of questions. The whole aim of this session is to give everybody on the live a better position, put you in a better position in answering the question. All right, so let's go. So the first question says, and by the way, how are we feeling about the exam given that the exam is coming up sharply? How are we feeling? People in the chat, they have to tell me how you're feeling while we work the first question. So the person is on here. I know you are a bit nervous at first, so I will work the first few and then I'll leave the floor open for anybody to come and work the others. All right? How does that sound good? Sounds good?
yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay. Good. So as you come in, share the live in your group chat, share the live to somebody sitting exam. They're nervous, beating up the maths. Abrams will here, lovely. Abrams will send the link in your group. All right, so let's go. The first question says, using your calculator otherwise, and it says using a calculator. So a key thing, your calculator can help you to pass this math exam. You just have to know to use it, right? So you have 26 days to learn to use a calculator. So using the calculator otherwise, determine the value of 12.3 squared, subtract, you have in brackets 0.246 divided by 3. Write your answer exactly, and then we want it to two significant figures. So I will use my calculator, and those of you that did the questions before, you can send your answers in the chat before I finish working it. All right, so let's go. So I will punch in 12.3 squared in my calculator, and that will give me 151.29, subtract, and I will punch it in my calculator, 0.246 divided by 3. And that will give me 0.082. And then I just punch in the rest of my calculator, 151.29, subtract 0.082. And this here would be 151.208. And that is the answer exactly. All right, that is the answer exactly. And then they wanted us to write it correct to two significant figures. So the thing about significant figures, for significant figures, we start counting from the first non-zero digit. We start counting from the first non-zero digit, and then we count after that. So the first non-zero digit here would be 1. So we count, since it's two significant figures, we count 1, 2, and then we look at the number after where we stop at. It's 1. So it will just be 150, and we put a 0 in place of all the digits that are not significant. Since it be 150, it doesn't make sense. We put 0.000, so we can just say 150 and put in bracket two significant figures. As easy as that. All right, nice and easy, 2 marks to get the blood flowing in the exam. Nice and easy giveaway marks. All right, and the next one says the value of 39, the value of 3.9 tan 18 correct to 1 decimal place. So I'll punch this in my calculator exactly how they have it. So it's 3.9 and it's tan. I put it exactly how they have it, tan 18. And this will give us, let's write it how they give us at first. 1.267188115. And then they wanted us correct to 1 decimal place. So we count one number. The thing about decimal places, we start counting from the first number after the decimal point. Significant figures, we start counting from the first non-zero, and decimal place, we start counting from the first number after the decimal point. So we count one number after the decimal point. So the number after we stop at is 6. So it's 5 and more, so we add 1 to the previous one. So this is 1 point, and since this is 6, it will be 1.3. Put in bracket 1 dp. 1.31 dp, as easy as that. Giveaway marks, nice and easy. So to recap, significant figures, we start counting from the first non-zero digit, and decimal places, we start counting from the first number after the decimal point. Don't give away these free marks in the exam. Very simple concept, as long as you understand it. Did I make a mistake or something, or is the chat lagging? I'm assuming it's lagging behind. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so everybody go there on the chat. Sorry, on the call with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the people in the chat, yeah, please focus. Stop being distracted. Remember, the exam is in 26 days, 25 if you don't come tonight. Let's carry on. All right, so I have this one here because this one has standard form. So I'll go through these here quickly. So you can send the answer. So using a calculator, otherwise determine the exact value of. So you have this first one, you can just punch it in a calculator and we'll get the answer. So it's 2.3 squared plus 4.1 squared, and that will give us 22.1, as easy as that. All right, and this one here now, it's 0.18 divided by 0.6, so you punch it in a calculator. 0.18 divided by 0.6, and I can press equal, and then I can subtract 0.003, and this will give us 0.297. And then this one here, you can use the calculator again. Well, let's work it out. All right, you know what? Let's use our calculator. So we punch in our calculator 3 and 1 over 3, subtract 2 and 3 over 5. And this will give us 11 over 15. And then this will be divided by, and we can turn this into a mixed fraction and then punch it in the calculator. So we multiply and then add. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So 11 over 5. We can punch this in the calculator, or we could have punched 11 over 15 divided by 2 and 1 over 5. It doesn't matter. So this will be 11 over 15 divided by 11 over 5 in our calculators, and that will give us simply, this is equal to 1 over 3, as easy as that. All you need to do is master your calculator, and you get full marks here. And there's a big start to the exam. There's a big start to Csec there. These are the #1 kind of questions. Practically giveaway marks. Mark questions to get the blood flowing in the exam. All right, the next one. Put your answer correct to one significant figure in A1. So A1 is where? A1 is here. So we want this correct to one significant figure. So I'll work that here. One significant figure. So we just count the first non-zero. We count 1. So this will be 20. And this will be correct to one significant figure. All right. All we need to do is count from the first non-zero digit. Significant figures, first non-zero digit. All right. How long will the stream be? We stream until morning. Stream until morning. We sleeping. We stream until 1 o'clock. We sleeping, getting up, and we continue in the life. Everybody must pass this math on this life. Everybody will pass the math on this life. If you're on this life, you will pass. All right, amen. Everybody say amen in the chat.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, good. So let's go to the next one. Write your answer in standard form. So this thing, we looked at significant figures, we looked at decimal places. Now we want standard form. So you want 2 in standard form. So the thing about standard form, there's another name for it. Can somebody give me the name? Not you here on the live. Can somebody give me another name for standard form in the chat? What's another name they can add? What's another term, I should say, for standard form? And then I'll ask, in 5 seconds, I'll ask you here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Somebody, one of my students, not a name, standard form.
Scientific notation.
Scientific notation. All right, scientific notation. So let me push scientific notation. All right, scientific notation or standard form. Both of them mean the same thing. Now, the thing about standard form or scientific notation, this is the only time when you're wrong enough, you're moving the decimal point. All the other ways, you're not troubling the decimal point. This is the only time you're moving the decimal point for standard form. You're not even changing the value, you're just moving the decimal point to express it in a certain format. All right. So the number that we want to write in standard form is 0.297. So standard form, we are moving the decimal point and we're putting it between the first 2 digits. The first 2 digits, but these digits must fit a certain criteria. One of my students on the chat, what is the criteria that these two do? When we move this decimal point, they put it between the first 2 digits. What must be the criteria for this number?
Sir, they must be more than 0.
More than 0? No.
Sir, greater than 1 but less than 10.
Very good. Thank you, Kevin. The number must be greater than 1 but less than 10. So if it's greater than 10, that's not in standard form. If it's less than 1, that is not standard form. So you move this point and we put it between here. So now we have 2.97 multiplied by, you're always multiplying by 10. You're always multiplying by 10. That wouldn't change. And then you must raise this 10 to a certain power. All right. So what will determine the power that we'll raise it 10 to?
Sir, the amount of times you move the decimal point.
For the amount of times we move the decimal point. All right. So we move the decimal point 1 time, so this will be 10 raised to the 4th power. So it's 2.97 multiplied by 10 raised to the 4th power. All right. That is it for standard form or scientific notation. Right? So depending on the amount of the amount of times you move the point, that is the power we raise it. So let's carry on. Let's move on to another type of number 1 question.
Sir, for the standard form, since would it be negative
yes,
1 instead?
correct. Correct. Thank you for that. So correct, excellent. Nice save. So the thing is, this was a slip. So the number that we started off with, it's less than 1. So this power here has to be negative, right? Excellent save, Kevin. Excellent save. All right. Excellent. And also another way you could think about it, because move the point into that direction, it's negative. If we had gone in this direction, it would have been positive. Because this direction is negative. Good. Excellent save. Force is in jar, so you're probably hearing some fireworks. Is it me alone? Anybody that's hearing the fireworks? That's me? Okay. Let's move on to another number 1 type question. It says, Mr. Mitchell deposited 40,000 in the bank and earned. Anybody would like to work this one? So Mr. Mitchell deposited 40,000 in the bank and earned simple interest at 7% per annum for 2 years. Calculate, very important, calculate the amount he will receive at the end of the 2-year period. All right. So as long as I'm alone here, the fireworks. Forces in the chat, they're hearing it as well. All right, so simple interest. What's the formula for simple interest again? Simple interest is equal to what?
Principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time divided by 100.
So the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by time divided by 100. All right, PRT of 100. So what is the principal in this example, in this question?
Sir, 40,000.
The principal is the 40,000. The principal is the amount of money that you borrow or invested. All right, the principal is the amount of money that you borrow or was invested. So simple interest would be equal to the principal in this case is 40,000 multiplied by the rate. The rate is the percentage. So the rate here is 7. It's multiplied by 7 multiplied by the time. Now the time is measured in years. All right. So in this case, it's 2 years multiplied by 2, all divided by 100. All right. So we work this out. This 0 go with that 0. This 0 go with that 0. So now we have 400 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 2, which will give us 5,600. And this is the simple interest. The thing is, many persons would say, okay, we done here with this question. And if this question went for 2 marks, you probably got 1. Because the question asks us to calculate the amount he will receive at the end of the 2-year period. It then asks us to calculate the simple interest. The simple interest, or the interest in general, is the extra money that you will get. So the amount that he will receive would be the amount that he deposited plus the simple interest. So the amount would be the amount that was deposited, which is 40,000, plus the simple interest, which is 5,600. All right, so we add that together, and this will give us 45,600. All right, so many persons would have ended off the question at 5,600, and they, the marks gone here, gone, and we need to get it back. All right. All right, how are we looking? How are we looking so far? Number 1, these are the number 1 types of questions that we're working, right?
Sir, you didn't put your $sign.
Oh, yeah, all right. $sign. So you can answer the question. Therefore, Mr. Mitchell will receive 45,600. Right, at the end of the 2-year period. All right. So that's why my students are here to keep me in check. We're not leaving any marks on the floor. We're not leaving any marks in the exam. We're collecting all the marks that CXC, has for us. We're not leaving anything, right? All right, so let's carry on. So the next one says, we're still looking at our one types questions. Mr. William, don't take these for granted, please. I know very brilliant students love bearings, cruel matrices, vectors, but they give away marks in these kind of questions. Don't be like that. I won't call any names. So next one says, Mr. Williams bought a plot of land for 40,000. The value of the land appreciated by 7% each year. Calculate the value of the land after a period of 2 years. All right, so appreciation. What do you mean by appreciation or appreciated?
Sorry, increase.
The value of the land increase. And the thing is, things like land and painting, like these painting from back in the days, and these are the valuables. Over the years, they increase in value because they are rare. So appreciated means the value will increase. Depreciated means what does depreciated mean?
It will decrease.
But the value will decrease. So things like car, what else would depreciate? Gold from time to time. Things like those would depreciate in value. They will lose value after a certain time because of wear and tear and so on, right? Clothing and so on. So the thing is, there's a formula that we use to calculate appreciation and depreciation. But let's just say you're like me, you don't like to remember formulas, and in this exam, and you're trying to think to yourself, how do I calculate this? And I don't remember the formula. So you'll work it that way. All right, so you work it that way. So the thing is, after each year, the value of the land will appreciate by 7%. So you can say after the fourth year, the value of the land will be, we find 7% of 40,000. So 7 over 100 multiplied by 40,000. So this zero go with that zero, this zero go with that zero. So 7 times 400, that would give us 2,800 or 2,800. And then, so the value of the land after the fourth year would be 40,000 plus 2,800, which will give us 42,800. So this is the value of the land after the fourth year. All right, this is the new value of the land after the fourth year. All right. Now in the second year this will be the new value of the land. So let me work it here. In the second year, so remember this is the value of the land. So this is what we got to calculate 7% of now, because this is the new value of the land. So in the second year, it will be 7 over 100 multiplied by 42,800. So this zero go with that zero, this zero go with that zero. So 7 times 428, that would give us 2,996. So the value here would be for the 2,800 plus 2,996. This will give us for the $5,796. So you can say, therefore, the value of the land after period of 2 years is for the 5,796. All right. Or would you have this the night before exam? Of course not. I would not have this the night before the exam. The night before the exam, you should be in your bed chilling. Think to yourself that all right, the 25 days that I had before the exam, I've done enough. I don't have to cram the night before the exam. I will probably do something the night before paper one exam. Definitely. But not paper two. Come on. Paper two, you should be in your bed. So that your brain can be rested and you go in the exam refreshed and ready to beat the maths.
Ready to cook.
Cook. Okay. Here, okay, we're cooking. Oh, are we cooking? I hope
Yes,
nobody's
sir.
serious cooking. We are cooking with gas, kerosene stove, candle, fireside,
Electricity.
electricity. All right, chat. Any chat we are cooking? You are cooking with gas. Anyways, so we are looking at the number one type questions. We looked at fractions, we looked at significant figures, standard form, scientific notation, consumer arithmetic, which comprises of salary and so on, depreciation, appreciation, and now we want to look at now we want to look at a ratio. Is there anybody on the chat that would like to work this nice ratio question?
Sure, sir.
All right, zero. Zero, if you want to work this question, you have to put on a camera. That's the rule. You ready for a zero?
How much more money does Maya receive than Priya? Okay, so
Zero, you have my camera ready?
first of all,
Okay, go ahead.
yes,
Sorry.
sir.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so
Read it over zero.
okay, so
All right, so your internet is beating us. So your internet is not cooking. All right, so I'll leave it on zero. So Maya and Priya shared 6,300 in the ratio 4 to 3. Zero there.
sir, yes, sir, but my Wi-Fi is a bit it's sticking.
All right, let me work it in the meanwhile. All right.
Sir. Okay, sir.
So Maya and Sarah shared 6,300 in the ratio 4 to 3. How much more money does Maya receive than Priya? So first of all, on the chat here, what is the most important thing when you're dealing with ratio? What is the most important thing you want to find?
To find one share.
To find the value of one share. That is the most important thing that we need when we're dealing with ratio. To find the value of one share. So Maya and Priya shared 6,300 in the ratio 4 to 3. So to find the value of this one share, we know the total share would be 4 plus 3, which would be 7. So it's 6,300 divided by 7. And this would give us the value of one share is 900. So the value of one share is 900. Now let's find. Actually, the thing is, we don't need to go further. They want how much more money Maya received than Sarah. So the difference between the shares is 1. So all we need to do, this is the answer here as well. It's 900 because if we multiply 4 by 900, that will give us 3,600, and 3 by 900, that will give us 2,700. And then when we subtract this, you will get the same 900 because the value of one share is 900. So we can end it off right there. So you can say, therefore, Maya receives 900 more than Priya. All right. So you can see some persons in the chat, they're cooking with gas. Nice. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. Good. Everybody good on the chat? Anybody got any special question they want to work? They want to work this one here?
So I can work the one.
Very good. Go ahead. You can read it and then work it. Eh?
Okay, it says the table below shows Amanda's shopping bill. Some numbers were removed. Some numbers were removed and replaced with letters. It says items will be stickers, t-shirts, CDs, posters, and I have the quantity, unit price, total cost. So for the quantity, which is 12, 3, 2, and C, which we have to find C. It have the unit price, it's 0.49, 12.50. B, we have to find B, and also A and D. So what we
Here,
would do
probably
to
if it
find
Sarah,
A,
you can probably take off your camera and see if the internet will work better. I think that would help. Right? Go ahead now.
okay, sir. Yes, so for A, we would for A, yes,
All right, so Sarah internet is at
sorry, multiply, sir, multiply.
Sarah internet. You didn't get you right.
Sir, you would have to multiply the 12.50 by 3 to get the answer.
12.50. So to find A, we multiply, as Sarah says, we want to get the total cost to be 12.50 multiplied by 3. So this would be, what's the answer?
37.5.
37.5. So you can say 37.50 since it's dealing with money. So A is 37.50. Good, continue.
And for B, sir, we would divide 33.90 by 2 to get B.
Good. So we want to find the unit price. So we see that two CDs were sold. So we divide this by 2. So this will be 33.9 divided by 90 divided by 2, which will give us
16.95.
16.95. So the unit cost is 16.95. All right, and C.
So that would be 31.00 divided by 6.20.
So you want to find the quantity. So we divide the total cost by the unit cost. So we divide here, it will be 6.20. So C would
Which
be
will give us 5.
5. So 5 posters were sold. All right. And then D now.
Okay, for D, we have to find okay, so the total cost will be 108.28. So we have to
So 108.28.
yes. So it says here 15% VAT to the nearest cent. So we have to get it for the total, which would be 15 over 100 times 108.28. So when you work out the top part, it will be 1,624.2 divided by 100, which would give us 16.242. And they want it to the nearest cent. So that would be 16.24.
Good. Excellent. 16.24. So they wanted to the nearest set mean two decimal places, right? So very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So 15% of that would be that. So yeah, I think did Sarah cook? Or was she cooked? Well, let me use my slang that I use. Did Sarah beat the maths or did the maths beat her? The thing is, the question asks 15% VAT, right? 15% VAT, you gotta, you find the 15%. And then if they had asked us in the next part, the total cost or what would they put in the bill? Um, what would they put in the bill after you find the VAT and you add on the VAT? Anyway, so yeah, it's 16.24, right? Should beat the maths. I say see everybody saying you beat the maths.
Okay, sir.
So some fire emoji for Sarah there in the chat. You might say the Wi-Fi beat you though, Sarah. You beat the maths, but the Wi-Fi beat you.
Yeah, sir. Wi-Fi is terrible.
All right, so we'll the people are calling for Troy. We'll see Troy later on. Troy is like LeBron James or Steph Curry. We put it in when he clutch time. All right. Said here we got 2 more minutes on the clock to knock down some trees. All right. People are asking for Troy. All right, so that was it for number one. So these are the kind of questions that you will see with number one. I have a feeling, I don't know. I dreamt it. I have a feeling a question like this is coming this year. I don't know. I had a dream. I had a dream last night. I had a dream that a question like this is coming. I'm not sure. I know a consumer arithmetic is coming. I had a dream. Like Martin Luther King, I had a dream that this a question like this is coming. So nice and easy giveaway marks. LeBron James. That's somebody saying in the chat. All right, so we're done with number one. Now let's move on to number two. Number one, you will see fractions and these kind of things. Now, number two, you will see algebra. All right. So somebody asked if I set the paper. No, CX set the paper, right? I'm kidding. I don't know what it's coming, but I said I had a dream. That is all I can say. I had a dream. Something decided is coming. All right. So the next thing says we're solving this equation, and this is probably one of the harder or hardest one you will see. I mean, it's simple, but these are some challenging ones you will see. So we wanted to solve this. Anybody would like to solve this on the call? Anybody would like to walk us through this? Yeah. Somebody say something fishy.
Sir, I can work it.
All right. So Ali is about to beat the maths. Right.
Okay, so
Let's go. Go ahead, Alia.
the first thing we're gonna do is cross multiply. So it will be 3x
Before you cross multiply, what are you doing?
Hmm?
Before you cross multiplying like this?
Yeah,
Okay. And why are you doing that?
to make the equation simpler.
All right.
Okay, so it will be 3x plus 7x minus 1 is equal to 0. So now we could add the 3x and the 7x, and that will be equal to 10x. So you write 10x minus 1 is equal to 0. So now we could take over the minus 1, and that will be positive. And now we'll take over the 10, and it will divide. So x will be equal to 1/10.
All right. That was easier than I expected. All right, very good. Very good, Alio. That was easier than I expected, but excellent. I was going to work in a very long drawn way. But yeah.
Alia cooked.
That was Italia. So let me work it another way. That was very easy. This is the way that I was going to work it. That probably a lot of people probably would have worked it as well. But this is actually easy. Right? Nice. See why I have these math geniuses up here. Right? I would have worked it a very long way. All right, so let me work it the way I was going to work it. So what I would have done for did Ali cook or no? We're not using cook. It's you gotta use beat the maths. Did Ali beat the maths or did the maths beat her?
Should be the master.
Right? So let's go. I would have carried over this here, and this would have been 3/7, which is the same, actually it's the same thing that Ali did. So 3/7 x minus 1 is equal to this would go into minus 1/x, and I would have cross multiply, right? Which is the same thing that Alia did. Right? So it's actually the same thing. Right? So I won't go through it. Basically the same thing, but with longer steps. All right, so well done, well done. Nice, nice, excellent. So we start off nice and easy. Did you work this last week? Or the last time we were live?
I think we did that last week, sir, but I don't think we did it the last time we were live.
Okay. So next one. So in number 2, you can you can either be asked to solve, simplify, or factorize. What else would they normally ask you to do? Change the subject or the formula and these kind of things. So we'll see how much of those we can touch. All right. So let's simplify this. So in a question, now the thing is, one thing, I should probably make a note of this. Whenever you're asked to simplify a fraction, well, an algebraic expression that is in the format of a fraction, you will most likely have to do some canceling out. All right. You most likely have to cancel something at the top with something at the bottom. So what you should do, you should aim to factorize the top piece and then cancel out with something at the bottom. All right. So let's factorize the top piece. So we have x squared minus 1. We know this is in a difference of 2 squared. We have 2 squared terms, x squared and 1. And they're subtracting. So we can factorize this as difference of 2 squared. So when we factorize the top, just open 2 brackets. In one bracket, we put x. The other bracket, you put x as well. All right, probably jumping a few steps. But we ask ourselves, what can we multiply by x to give you x squared? So we know we can multiply by x. All right, so we put 1x here and 1x in the other bracket. Then we ask ourselves, what can we multiply to give you 1? We know 1 times 1 will give you 1. So we put 1 here, and we put 1 here. And in one bracket, we add, and in the other bracket, we subtract. So you have x plus 1 multiplied by x minus 1, and this would be over x minus 1. So the thing is now, we can now cancel out, since these two top things are multiplied, we can now cancel out the x minus 1 with the x minus 1 at the bottom. So this will be simplified to x plus 1. All right, as easy as that. Whenever you have fractions and you have to simplify them, algebraic fractions, you will have to do some sort of factorizing, right? So the next one, we have 4ab squared plus 2a squared b, all divided by ab, or you're asked to simplify this. So the thing is, we have AB at the bottom, so that means we have to cancel the top with AB. So what we do, we just factor out AB from the top here. So when you factor out AB from the top, so let's factor out AB from this term. You factor out AB from this term, we're left with this A will go and 1 in the B will go. So we're left with 4B. And we factor out AB from this term, we're left with 1 in the A will go and the B will go. So we're left with plus 2A. And all of this divided by AB. So now the AB will cancel with the AB, and we're left with 4B plus 2A. And that is the answer there. All right. So one key thing to note. So The persons who are gaffing in the chat, they don't be distracted. In life, you'll have distractions where you just have to put on your blinders, whatever the horses would have on when they're racing, and focus, right? Or allow the persons in the chat to distract you. A lot of people got a lot of purpose in this life. Some persons are here to distract others from achieving what they want to achieve, right? So don't allow yourselves to be distracted. Anyway, so let's go. So that's the answer. As easy as that. So the key takeaway here, whenever you have algebraic fractions and you have to simplify, you will have to do some sort of factorizing and canceling out. Somebody said, a name is the weapon formed against us. Yes. The weapon will not prosper. Don't allow the weapon to prosper. All right. Let's carry on. Let's push on. Let's push through. Anybody would like to work this one? By the way, all these questions were sent out. So that is why, the persons who follow me on wherever social media are on, I posted the link to these questions. So that is why we're here working, right? On TikTok, I think, and Facebook. Young people, young people are not on Facebook. But I posted the link in TikTok as well, right? Anybody on the call would like to work this one and explain? All right, so the things
Yes, sir.
all right, go ahead. Go ahead, Kevin. Read the question and answer.
The diagram below shows a semicircle with a diameter AC. B is a point on the circumference, and AB equals BC, which is equal to 8.2 centimeters. State the geometrical name of the line AB. So AB would be a chord. Explanation: it touches one end of the circumference. The two endpoints of the line touch the circumference without passing through the center.
Good.
Now, find the value of the radius of the circle. Okay, so firstly, to find the radius, we know that AB, we obviously see this as a triangle, right? So BC, the total is BC is equal to AB as well. So AB will be 8.2 centimeters. Now, another thing we know about this triangle is that it's a right angle triangle. We can pull our circle theorems to say angles in a semicircle equals to 90 degrees. Thus, we can use Pythagoras' theorem to find AC, which is the diameter. So that'll be A squared equals to B squared plus C squared. So okay, so A squared equals to 8.
Hold on, pause it, Kevin. Pause.
Yes.
Just to be
Yes.
technically sound, right?
Yeah.
We know when we labeling triangles. We normally
Okay,
label.
yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So okay, 8.2 squared.
8.2 square.
Yeah, because that would be the 8.
Let's label it again. So we know we normally
Right.
label this wherever angle, we label it with the side opposite, right? So this will technically be B, right?
Yeah. Yes,
This
sir.
will technically be B. So
So,
common
okay,
B. So we can put back the Pythagoras theorem now, but put B as a subject. Instead of A squared, let's say B squared, right? Same working and everything.
So B squared equals to A squared plus C squared. So B squared is equal to 8.2 squared plus 8.2 squared, which is equal to 134.4.48. Now we can say b is equal to the square root of 134.48, which would give us 11.6. Let's round it for now. Oh, and then we can divide that by 2 to get the
11.1?
11.596555121. The very long number.
All right, so wrong after one decimal place since all the others are one decimal place as well. So this would be let's say B 6.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
And then now to find the rate, since that's a diameter, we can find the radius by dividing that by 2. So that's 11.6 divided by 2, which is 5.8.
5.8 cm?
Yes, sir.
5.8 cm. Kevin beat the maths or the maths beat Kevin?
Kevin beat the math, sir.
Kevin beat the maths, right? Well explained. Very good. Kevin beat the maths. Let's get some fire emoji for Kevin in the chat. Get some fire emoji for Kevin. Kevin beat up the maths. We cooking. All right, Plator. Jado. All right, good. So we cooking. Let's carry on now. Now the thing is, we looked at this last week, so everybody should. By the way, somebody was asking which school got the link. All the schools should have gotten the link. All the schools, it was posted either on TikTok and also it was sent to the schools as well. I trust that all the schools in here got it. Right? If they didn't get it, my will be disappointed. Let's go. The next one says anybody want to tackle these here?
Sure, sir.
Last year you went already. We got a couple of people here as well. You don't want to beat up his math zero.
Yes, sir. I want to beat up the maths.
All right. Anybody would like to work it? All right, Sarah, go ahead. Let me hear. Hopefully, internet is good. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So it says, given that f of x is equals to 2x minus 5 and g of x is equals to x squared minus 31, calculate the value of f of f.
F of. All right, Sarah, internet. All right, let me work
Sir?
it. Sarah, internet. All right, let me work it, Sarah.
Okay, sir.
Internet beating Sarah cruel tonight. All right, no worries. So we want to find f of -2. So f of x is equal to 2x minus 5. All right, so f of -2 is equal to, so we just substituting -2 inside this function. And that is why it's worth 1 mark because it's a giveaway. All right, so this will be 2 times -2 minus 5. I'm seeing some answers in the chat. Are we all sure about that answer? This will be 2 times -2 will give me a -4 minus 5. So this would be -4 minus 5. We know this will simply give us a -9. So f of -2 is equal to a -9. Right? Nice and easy giveaway mark, nice and easy 1 mark. So next one, you want to find gf of 1. So the key thing to finding these composite functions is to just find f of 1, and then we take that answer and we put it inside the g function. All right. So we find f of 1 first, and then we put it inside. You take that answer, put it inside the g function. So let's find f of 1. So f of 1 is simply, we know this is the f function. So you know f of 1 is simply 2, instead of x, it would be 1 minus 5. This would be 2 times 1 is 2 minus 5 would be a negative 3. So f of 1 is equal to a negative 3. Now we're taking this negative 3 and we're putting it inside the g function. So we're replacing f of 1 with 3. So this would be g of negative 3. That is the value for f of 1. So this will be, so the g function is x squared minus tau to 1. So instead of x squared, we'll have negative 3 squared minus tau to 1. And negative 3 squared would be 9 minus tau to 1. So 9 minus tau to 1 would give us negative 22. All right, so g of negative 3 would be equal to negative 22. All right, nice and easy, 2 marks. All right, so the key thing is to just find this function and put it inside that function. All right, nice and easy. So the people in the chat are asking for Troy. Let's put Troy in the spot. Troy, the people are asking for you to work number 3.
Okay, sir.
Go ahead.
So first we find what is f inverse x. So f inverse of x equal 2x minus 5.
All right, so we write f of x is equal to 2x minus 5. F of x is equal to that.
So now to find the inverse, it will be y equal 2x minus 5.
Then we got to walk us through this thing, right, Troy? Walk us through what we're doing, right? Pretend as though we don't understand.
Yes, sir. Um,
So step 1,
step 1, yeah. Equate it to y.
we replace f of x with y.
So vy equal 2x minus 5. Now you interchange x for y and y for x, then give you x equal to y minus 5. So now you're making y the subject. So you carry over the negative 5, which will give you x plus 5 equal to y. So now you carry over the 2. Since it's multiplying when go, we will divide. So it'll be x plus 5 divided by 2 equal y. So now f inverse of x equals x plus 5 divided by 2. So now we're finding f inverse of 3. So that would be f inverse of 3 equals, replace the x with 3 plus 5 divided by 2. So 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 over 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now f inverse of 3 equals 4.
Troy beat the maths or the maths beat Troy?
Troy be the master.
Troy beat the maths. Let me hear in the chat. Did Troy beat the maths? So some fire emoji in the chat for Troy. That was the fourth quarter. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. I never saw the movies, the basketball movies. And the boys would say, put me in, coach. Anyways, yeah, it's a compilation of questions, right? And the link was shared in TikTok, in the school groups, Facebook, Instagram. Right, like any shared on Instagram. But all over the link was shared. So Troy getting some fire emojis. So far, Sarah beat up the maths, Troy beat up the maths, Kevin beat up the maths, Alia beat up the maths.
Waiting on yes, sir.
Talia, yeah. Talia is Angel Reese. There's really female basketball player name. Angel Reese.
Hell no, sir. Nah.
Or Caitlin Clark.
No. Yeah,
Caitlin Clark. We put in Caitlin Clark in the fourth quarter. We two down, 30 seconds on the clock. We put in Caitlin Clark. All right, so let's see what we have. All right, this nice question. I love this question very much. Anybody would like to work this one while I take a sip of water? F of x is equal to 2x. The reason why I put this one in here because these are the different ways in which functions can come. We worked another one last week. Now I'm working out all the other ways in which functions can. As long as you can answer these ways, you're solid with functions. All right. Anybody want to tackle this one? All right, let me work it. So it says f of x is equal to 2x plus 7 all divided by x plus 1. All right, and it says state the value of x for which f of x is undefined. So it's an open question. When is f of x undefined?
When the denominator is 0.
When the denominator is equal to 0. So to find the value of x for which f of x is undefined, all we do, we take this denominator and we equate it to 0. So this would be x plus 1 is equal to 0. So the value of x would be x is equal to, take over this plus 1, it would be x is equal to negative 1. So we can say f of x is undefined at x equal negative 1. Nice and easy marks. Right? We can't give away these kind of marks. As easy as that. The hardest part in maths is understanding the question, not working it. As long as you understand it, you can work it. Right? As easy as that. If you didn't know that, now you know. It just comes in the exam. People crying. There was any time for crying, there was any time for smile. I'm crying in the chat, man. All the time to smile. All right, let's go. The next one. Yeah, oh, so we got all the types, all the ways in which these questions can come, right? You know what? Let me state another question. Since we're here. So let's say we are asked to find f inverse of x, right? Of this function. I will work it out, right? Let's say we're asked to find f inverse of x. And a question like this would probably go for like 3 marks, 2 to 3 marks. Depends on how CX is feeling. This is a fractional function. We got 2 values of x. So if we want to find the inverse of this function, you know, these questions typically go for a lot of marks. So let's go through just in case. We actually worked one like this the last time we were live, but let's work it again. So the steps will be the same. So we replace f of x with y. So this should be y is equal to 2x plus 7 all divided by x plus 1. And then we interchange the x and the y, meaning wherever you have x, we put y, wherever you have y, we put x. So this would be x is equal to 2y plus 7 all divided by y plus 1. And now this is the big part, the big man. We make y the subject. But in this case, we have 2 sets of y. So when you say you got 2 sets of y, you got to do something to make this thing just one y we want. So what we'll do, we'll just take off what is at the bottom. So everything at the bottom is dividing. And we take it over multiply. So we'll have x multiplied by, take over this here, this will be y plus 1 is equal to 2y plus 7. And we distribute the x now, distribute the x row. This will be xy plus, this x times 1 would be x, is equal to 2y plus 7. And now we put all the terms with y on one side and take over everything else on the other side. So now we'll have xy, and we take over this 2y, it will become minus 2y is equal to, we take over this plus x, this will be 7 minus x. And now this is the big part. We have two sets of y. We ask ourselves, what can we do to make this y equal 1? We can't add them together because they are unlike terms. So what do? We factor out the y. We factor out the y from the two terms. So we'll have y, open bracket, x minus 2 is equal to, we factor the y from here, we're left with x. We factor the y from here, we're left with 2. This is equal to 7 minus x. And now we make y the subject. So this x minus 2 is multiplying, and we take it over, divide. So we'll have y is equal to 7 minus x, all divided by x minus 2. And then the last step now, we change y to f 8 inverse of x is equal to 7 minus x, all divided by x minus 2. As you work these kind of questions. So these here typically go for a lot of marks, but if you understand it, you can see it's very easy, right? The only additional step that we did, we just have to do a little factorizing. All right, that's the only additional step that we did for this question here. All right, we just little factorizing. Step 1, replace f of x with y. Step 2, interchange the x and the y. And the last step, you make y the subject. And in that case, we have to do the factorizing. From the time you see I got 2x, you know at some point you'll have to factorize. All right. Nice and easy giveaway marks. Cooking or the maths cooking me? I beating the maths or the maths beating me?
Cooking, you're cooking, sorry, cooking.
Right. Let's move on to the next one. So I'll read it and then take serious if you want to work it. So it says, given that g of x is equal to, well, f of x is equal to 4x minus 7, and g of x is equal to 3x plus 1, all divided by 2. Determine the values of g of 0 and g of 5. Go ahead, 0.
Oh my, the Wi-Fi going again. Sorry?
Go ahead. If you Wi-Fi cut off, I'll work it, right? Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. So that would be g of 0 equals 3 bracket 0 plus 1, all divided by 2. So 3 multiplied by 0 would be 0 plus 1 divided by 2, which would equal to half. And that would be g of 0 is equal to 0.5. Okay, so now we find g of 5. That will be g of 5 equals 3
3. All right, so g of 5 would be 3 multiplied by 5 plus 1, all divided by 2.
divided by 0. I mean 2, yeah.
Good.
G of 5 equals 15 plus 1, all divided by 2. So 15 plus 1 would give you 16, then divided by 2, which would be g of 5 is equal to 8. So now since we're looking for g of 0 plus g of 5, g of 0 would be 0.5. plus g of 5, which is 8, which would give us 8.5.
Zero Coke or no? Zero beat the maths and the maths beat zero. 8.5 or so somebody got 17 over 2, same thing. 8.5 or 17 over 2 or 17 and a half. Right? All right, so these are all the ways in which functions can come. Did I miss any? Normal, composite, inverse, adding functions, inverse of these kind of functions, undefined in the table. Yeah, so these are all the ways. All right. So like this one for emoji for zero. Let's fire up the chat for zero. All right, not 17 and a half. They should be 2, 8, 8 and a half, right? My bad. Eight and a half, 8.5, 17 over 2. All right, let's carry on. Who's working this one? All right. Oh, they asked if you could round up 8.5. No, why would you want to round up 8.5? No. The only time I'm there, the only time you round up is if you have a fancy numbers like 8.52958 3, something like that, right? If you got a simple fraction like 8.5, there's no need to round up. Unless they ask you to write it correct to one decimal place. Other than that, no need to round up. Right? No need to round. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Anybody working this one? Probably Talia, me no.
Sorry, I thought Amber said she wanted to do this one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Talia. All right, so while we waiting on Dalia, let me read it. So it says a speed time graph below shows the movement of a cyclist. Using the graph, calculate the acceleration of the cyclist during the first 50 seconds. Yeah, go ahead, Talia. Yeah.
Okay, so for the first one, acceleration is basically the gradient of a line. So that one is going to be rise over run, which is going to be 40 over 15. Which will give you 2.67.
All right. So 2.67 meters per second squared, right? Since it's dealing with acceleration. All right. So 2.6 seconds meters per second. All right. So as Talia rightfully said, acceleration in this case is just rise over run. It's a gradient, right? Acceleration is just finding a gradient. When you have a speed time graph, acceleration is finding a gradient. All right. And I want basically find the gradient for the first 15 seconds, which is like from here to here. So the tally cook? Or tally still cooking more? Yeah, tally, you're not done cooking, the food ain't finished. Continue cooking.
All right, so for the second one, they said to calculate the distance between 15 and 35 seconds. So distance is basically the area of that little part there from 15 to 35. And since it's not it's an abnormal shape, you're gonna have to find the area of a triangle and of a square. So to find the area of the square is gonna be length times width. Which is going to be 40 times 20.
All right, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So 20, and this is, it's 40. All right, good. Let's say 20 times 40. 20 times 40. Good.
Which is 800. Then to find the area of a triangle, it's half base times height. So the base will be 20. And the height is 10. Half of 20 is 10. Multiplied by 10 is 100. Now, since you want to find the area for the whole, like the whole shape, you're gonna have to add the 800 and the 100, which will give you 900 meters.
So we can say therefore the distance traveled by the cyclist between t equal 15 and t equal 35 is 900 meters. All right, the tally beat the maths or the maths beat tally up? Tally beat the maths or the maths beat tally up?
Beat the math. Probably beat
She
the
beat the
math.
maths.
Check cooking.
All right, so let's get some fire emoji in the chat for Talio. Awesome, everybody was asking for a face reveal for Talio. No, we have a Talio face reveal. Everybody who was here the last time I think the trending hashtag was hashtag face reveal Talio. Started by no other than Troy.
Troy. It's always Troy.
All right, so very good, very good. So the thing is calculating the distance for the speed time graph is basically finding the area. So calculating the distance is finding the area of the shape, right? So in this case, we could have this is a trapezium. We could have used the trapezium, but it's easier to split it up into two shapes. Find the area for one, and then find the area of the other, and we add them together. All right. Somebody live is lagging. Still at 8.5. I have a feeling that the thing is, if you look at the trend of papers over the past couple of years, speed time graph, distance time graph, velocity time graph, these things have been coming. So that is why, we added in this year in this revision, because this is what has been trending. By trend, I mean, in the paper. So once again, like Martin Luther King, I have a dream, or I had a dream now. I had a dream that something like this will come in the exam. All right. So distance time, speed time, master those things. These things have been coming up a lot in the past few years, even as late as this year, right? Somebody says sleep deprived. Bible says no rest for the wicked, so probably something is happening there. If you sleep deprived, no rest for the wicked. So see what's happening there. All right. The dream is a dream. I have no idea what's coming in the exam. Nobody knows, right? Except with the exception of probably 3 persons in the whole world. They know what is coming. Not even them. Think see the exam is probably set in they put a whole list of questions, and probably one person compile it, or even it's computerized, one person verify it, and so nobody knows what is coming in the exam. Nobody, except that one person. Think about these exams, they can't let too many persons know. So that is why they limit it to a small number of courses, because somebody has to verify. So I have no idea what's coming. As I said, just looking at the trend of questions, as when you look at the previous years, the late years, look at what didn't come along or what is coming now. So that's what I mean. Say, how long was I sorely answer this coming? Absolutely not. I have no idea.
Sir,
Yeah.
there's somebody in the chat that your dream has come true. Like,
With my, with that?
sir, the person said your dream does come true.
Oh, my dreams come true. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just giving you tips as a person who look at the exam. Anyways, let's go. Who want to work this one? Amber?
Yes, sir.
So go ahead and read it. And so Amber, over to you.
Okay, so the graph below represents the 5-hour journey of an athlete. Number 1, what was the average speed during the first 2 hours? So to find the average speed, we need to find the distance and divide it by the time. So the distance was 12 kilometers, and we're going to divide that by 2 hours. Which is 6 kilometers per hour. So for the second one, it says, what did the athlete do between 2 and 3 hours after the start of the journey? So we can see after the 2 and 3 hours after the start of the journey, the line is straight. Therefore, it's constant, so the athlete rested or was stationary. The third one, what was the average speed on the return journey? Again, speed equals distance divided by time. So 12, which is the distance, divided by 1.5, which is the hours, is 8 kilometers per hour.
So 1.5, when you got 1.5, we see it's from here. So it's from here. And we see this is a 0.5. And then we know from here to here is 1. So that's where we get the 1.5, right? And I said this is equal to 8 km per hour.
Yes, sir.
8 km per hour. All right, so speed is distance divided by time. So it's just to look at the graph and see where the distance is. So the distance is 12. So they travel from 12 to 0. So the total distance there is it's 12 km. And the time we just look at this part of the graph to this part. So they took half, and then we took 1 hour. So they took 1.5 hours. All right, so this we end up with is 1.5, and then we punch it in a calculator, we get 8 km per hour. All right, so it's just using the formula for speed. Just use the formula for speed, and distance divided by time. That's all they need to do. All right, and just get the distance from the graph and get the time from the graph. All right, so Amber beat the maths, or the maths beat Amber?
Everybody beating him out, sir.
All right, so let me just find emoji for Amber in the chat. There's some fire emoji for Amber. I say I'm one of the food. All right. I'm one of the part, yes. Okay, very good. So just to look at the graph and get the distance and the time, right? Is all. All right. Once again, everybody in the chat, everybody looking at here passing answers. But if the fact is that you're here looking on, that means you are putting in some sort of practice. That means you care about the exam. So I can guarantee as long as you are actually here, you're working and so on, you will pass the maths. The people that will fail the maths is the people them that the night before then is when they will watch and do videos and go in the exam. So the fact that you're here, that means you have a pass the maths. So no need to do the extra thing that you are talking about in the chat. Just practice. All right. So we looked at number one kind of question. We looked at number two. We looked at three. And now let's see to look at some circle theorem. These are the questions that students tend to be afraid of. I don't know why. Hopefully in your year, these things can come very easy, or sometimes, you could be unlucky and they can come challenging. Not hard, but challenging. So let's keep our fingers crossed that they will come easy this year. All right? Fingers crossed. They will come using the theorems that you know and love. All right, so let's go. How long is it live? As I said, we're going until morning. We're going up until 12 o'clock, sleeping for an hour with the live on, and then we coming back at 1 o'clock and we're going till up to 5. Not sleeping. Anyway, so it says a diagram below.
Come together and cook this one.
Is that yeah, we work this together.
Yes, sir. All of us should come together and cook this one.
Yeah, we work it together. Anyways, it says a diagram below not drawn to scale shows a circle center O. The line BC is a tangent to the circle at B, and angle CBD is 42 degrees, and angle OBE is 20 degrees. So calculate, give a reason for your answer. Give a reason for each step. The thing says each step of your answer, the measure of angle BOE. BOE. BOE is here. BOE is here. Let me go BOE. BOE. Forcing's force. We see O is the center. And we have two lines drawn from the center of the circle to the circumference. So that should immediately tell you that those two lines are the radii. So if this is a radius and this is a radius, then we also know. All right, since I'm on it, let me finish it. Yeah, I'll cook the other one. So we know since this is a radius, that is a radius, that means they are of the same length. So that means this triangle here is an isosceles triangle. So since it's an isosceles triangle, now the thing is a key tip, look out for isosceles triangles in these kind of questions. Look out for them. All right, look out for isosceles. When you have isosceles, that means two angles will be the same. So since we know here is 20, and it's an isosceles triangle, here will also be 20. And because there is 20 and there is 20, we want to find BOE. It will be 180 minus 20 plus 20, because the total number of the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180. It will be 180 minus 40. This would be 140 degrees. And the reason would be, this here would be isosceles. So I spell isosceles for me. ISOSCELES. CLES. Is that correct? Or the English beating me? The spelling beating me, or I beating the spelling? Anyways, CXE marking for spelling in maths. And we can also see
Sir, it's CELES.
CELES. CELES.
Sir, the spelling might be beating you.
ISOSCELES.
Yes, sir.
Alright, this isosceles would normally the word that would normally beat me. Anyways, we were close. We didn't lose your marks for spelling. You see everybody in the chat telling me yes. Spelling beating all of us. Anyway, so the next one, sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. All right, that would be our reasons. Those would be our reasons. All right, each step. Yeah, the spelling in what as Tishana said, but you gotta be close. You can't say isosceles and spell it let me see, ISLISOPAN. You gotta be close, right? It can't be too, it doesn't matter, but it can't be too far off, right? They may think that you're bluffing. You try to, like what a student did. They could not remember the answer, so they scratch up the thing. They scratch something like this, put something like, they write a word, they write OP, then they scratch up, and then, they left it for me to mark, thinking that I know the answer. So I will try to find the answer in the word. So don't do like that, student. Anyway. All right, so the next one says OED. OED. Who want to cook this one?
There, I'll do that one.
Go ahead.
So I got 22, right? So now I'll explain. So the angle formed between a tangent and a chord is equal to the alternate segment of the circle. So, right, that means DBC, if DBC equal 42, BED equal 42. So now to find OED, you subtract angle BED from angle BEO. So OED equals 42 minus 20. So OED equals 22 degrees.
Well done, Troy. Well done. Here's where I was laughing. I mean, I'm looking at the question. I understand what you're saying, but the fact is you're saying OEB and so quickly. I know the people in the chat. The people in the chat, they find it. I'm sure they were finding that hard to follow. Because I was finding it hard to follow. All I know you're correct. But excellent, Troy. Well done. So somebody said grade 5. No, let's go through it, right? Let me just go through what Troy said was slowly, right? So Troy did cook. He did beat the maths very badly. All right, very good. So it says the angle. Repeat the theorem, Troy.
The angle formed between a tangent and a chord is equal to the angle in the alternate segment of the circle.
Good.
So
Good. Pause, Troy. So this here is the chord. BD is the chord, everybody. So it says the angle formed between that chord and this tangent here, this BC line, which is 42 degrees, is equal to the angle in the alternate segment. So the alternate segment means we have this chord BD, and if an angle is formed from BD, the two ends of BD, like how we have a line drawn here, and we have another line drawn here, we have an angle in the alternate segment, which is this complete angle here. So the theorem says that that complete angle is equal to the 42 degrees. Yeah, this is the worst theorem. I don't like it, but it's a nice one too. Yeah, that angle here is equal to 42 degrees. So you can say, since this entire thing is 42, to find OED, it will be 42 degrees minus 20 degrees, since you already know 20 degrees. So 42 minus 20 is 22 degrees. And our reason would be, as Troy said, the angle formed between a tangent to a circle between a chord let me write this back. Angle formed between a chord and the tangent to a circle is equal to the angle in the alternate segment. All right. All right, so yeah, this is probably the theorem that is not used the most. But yeah, that is the answer though. Very, very, very good, Troy. All right, very good. So Troy did cook, right? So he did beat the maths. So let's get some fire emoji for Troy in the chat. We cooking. All right, so good. Next one, BFE. BFE is 3 marks, but what? Means something going on in BFE. BFE. Now, from the time, if you have some, from the time you see a question is worth 3 marks in Csec. You don't know, CXC will not give away 3 marks like that. Don't know, you gotta do something, right? You gotta do something extra. So if you do a 3 mark question and you do 1 line, look back. Think about it. Don't overthink it, but look at it good. Right? Don't overthink though. So B, where is it? B, let me erase all these fancy things. So we know here is part 2, right? So you want to find BFE. BFE. So BFE. So let me write in here is shown here to be 140. So BFE. Who want to kickstart the BFE?
Sir, can I try?
Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So since we don't know what is BFE yet, well, let's find BDE.
BDE.
So, okay, sir. So BOE is equal to 140 degrees, and it says the angle in the center is twice the angle at the circumference, so that would be 70 degrees at BDE. Since that's 70 degrees, sir, BFE will equal to 110 degrees because, sorry, I forget the name of this thing inside the circle. I forget it, but the opposite side equal to 180 degrees.
Cyclic quadrilateral?
Yeah, cyclic quadrilateral. The opposite sides are equal to 180 degrees.
Good. Excellent. So BFE is how much you said? 110?
Yes, sir.
Good, very good, very good. That was easier than I expected, man. All right, that was easy. That was too easy.
Yes, sir. Give away 3 marks.
Let's hope. So let me write down. So BDE is 70 degrees. Angle in the center is twice the angle at the circumference. And then we want BFE to be 180 degrees minus 70 degrees, which will be 110 degrees. And the reason opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral are, well, supplementary. If you can't remember the word supplementary, you can just say add up to 180 degrees, right? If you can't remember supplementary, the word supplementary too big. See, they add up to
That's an
180
easy way
degrees.
to remember.
What, add up to 180 degrees?
No, sir. Remember the supplementary and complementary. I have the easy way to remember.
What is the
I
easy
might as
way?
well share it with everyone so far. Okay,
Let me
sir.
hear.
So since C, so in the alphabet, right, sir, it has C, then S, right? So
Mhm.
C would be 90,
Mhm.
because 90 is less than 180, and then S would be 180, supplementary.
Good. So C come before S, so it says C complementary angles add up to 90, and supplementary will come. Yeah, it's a nice way. Yeah, that's how we learn, right? That's how you remember a lot of facts. Everybody got their own way. That's a nice way. That's a way that I would use as well. So let's get some fire emoji for Sarah in the chat. That was excellent. So some fire emoji for Sarah. By the way, cyclic quadrilaterals, as somebody right said, as long as you have a four-sided shape and all of the edges touch the circumference, they are cyclic it's a cyclic quadrilateral, and the opposite sides are supplementary. Somebody's saying in the chat, scrape head. What is a scrape head? What's a scrape head? What's a scrape head? See, everybody's talking about that in the chat. All right, so that was our circle theorem question, and this is probably a challenging one. No matter how it's so easy. I don't look at it as how it appears to be easy. This is actually a challenging something. When you are alone in the paper, it's challenging, right? Let's carry on. Actually, I'm almost done on this live page. I react. Oh, we now start like. All right, so we turn up the heat. We turn up the heat. We done with circle theorem. We turn up the heat. We turn up the heat. Let's not get distracted. What time is it? How long we on the live? 5 minutes. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Let's go. In the figure above, not drawn to scale, ABCD is a parallelogram such that DC is equal to 3x, DA is equal to 3y. The point P is on DB such that DP is equal to DB is equal. DP to PD is 1 to 2. All right, so that's basically explain what's going on in the diagram. Turning up the heat. This is the part that will separate all the grade 2s and the grade 1s. So if you master this, you're in the grade 1 category. If it's beating you, go over to the grade 2 section. I just kidding. You can get a grade 1 by getting a few of these wrong. But so let's go. It says express in terms of x and y. We have the first one, AB. A, B. AB would be AB. Now, the thing is, it's a parallelogram. That's what it said. It's a parallelogram. So that means the opposite sides are parallel. And because the opposite sides are parallel, they have the same vector. Well, they can be represented using the same vector in terms of x and y. So AB is parallel to DC. So they want us to find AB. This is probably a 1-mark question. So AB is simply equal to, since DC is equal to 3x and they're parallel, we say AB is equal to 3x. That is how you express AB in terms of x. As easy as that. AB is equal to 3x. DC is parallel to AB, so that is 3x. It's easy as that. All right. The next one, BD. BD, B to D. We don't have anything for B to D as easy as that, so we gotta express this in terms of the triangle law. And all we gotta do, we gotta just move from B to D in a triangle. We gotta move from B to D in a triangle. So all we do to move from B to D in a triangle, all we do, we move from B to A, and then we move from A to B. That's how we move. That's how we move from B to D in a triangle. We just move from B to A, so this is equal to BA plus AD. All right. And then we just put in it in terms of X and Y. That's what they want. They don't want in terms of A, B, and so on. They want in terms of X and Y. So do we know what BA is? We don't know what BA is, but we know what AB is. So since AB is 3, that means BA, which is going in reverse, it will just be the reverse of the sign. So instead of 3x, it will be in the opposite direction, which would be a negative 3x. And then plus AD, and we know from D to A is 3y. So to go in reverse, it would be a negative 3y. So this would be plus a negative 3y. And this plus and minus here, we're just turning into a minus. So the answer is BD is equal to a negative 3y minus, well, a negative 3x minus 3y. All right. As easy as that. Somebody rightfully sent it in the chat. That is saying good. Is that the script head good? Are you saying good? Are you saying good?
It's a normal good.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we can factorize it, but nah, they say factor. Let's leave it like that, man. If you factorize it, nothing is wrong. It's taking it a step further, but we can leave it as that for now. Leave it as that. Anyway, so the next one says DP. 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 Oh, DP from D to P. So the thing is, they told us here, let me highlight this piece. DP to PB is 1 to 2. This is telling you that this entire DB here is shared in this ratio 1 to 2. 1 for DP and 2 for PD. So we can split this entire thing up into 3 pieces. So from D to P is we know the total share would be 3. So from D to P, which is the 1 shared, this will just be 1 over 3. And then this other piece would be 1 over 3, and then this other piece would be 1 over 3. We just split it up. All All right, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And then they want us to find dp. So we know dp is 1/3 of db. Do we know what db is? We don't know what db is, but we know what bd is. So we know bd is -3x minus 3y, but we want db, which is in reverse, right? So all we got to do is flip the signs. We just flip the signs. So instead of -3x, this is about 3 plus 3x. Instead of -3y, this will be plus 3y. All right. Whenever you're moving from it, like how we move from b to d, and it's negative. If we go in reverse, d to b, we flip the signs. So we know dp now that we want to find is 1/3. So this will just be 1/3 of db, which will just be 1/3 of 3x plus 3y. And then we can just distribute this 1/3. 1/3 times 3, that would simply be, this again, if you have 1/3 multiplied by 3, that would give you 3/3, which is 1. So 1x would be the same as x. And then 1/3 times 3y would be the same as 1y. So this would be y. So dp is equal to x plus y. All right, dp is equal to x plus y. All right, how we looking? How we looking, chat? How we looking on the Zoom? Looking good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Anybody sleepy on the Zoom, eh? Turn off the camera and sleep, eh? How we looking, chat? Looking good? All right, so that was it. That was it. 5 marks. Nice and easy, 5 marks. So let me just write in here. So we know AB is 3x. This here is minus 3x minus 3y. And this here is x plus y. To make it easier for reference. So next one says, show that AP is equal to x minus 2y. So AP, so first of all, AP will be from A to P. So from A to P, so to move from A to P, we see we have to move from, we move along a triangle again. So you move from A to D, and then we move from D to P. And we already found all of these things already. So all we gotta do is just go back to the previous questions and put this inside here. So we know AD, we found AD, did we find AD? Actually, we know AD to be a -3y. So AD is -3y plus DP. We found DP. We found DP to be x plus y, because we found it here. So we just simplify this. We want to show that this is equal to this. So we simplify this. So we're adding, so we can just remove the brackets. So we can put the like terms together now. So this would be x plus y minus 3y. And this would be x. So y minus 3y would simply be minus 2y. So AP is equal to that. And that is how we show that. Somebody said it belly hurt. It ain't belly can't hurt. As I said, these are the challenging parts of maths, right? These are the parts that will separate the sheep from the goat. These are the parts that will give you the grade 1. If you don't understand these, you can still pass the exam without understanding this. But if you want a grade 1, you gotta understand this. All right. Are we looking, chat? We cooking? Cooking, or are we being cooked? Beating the maths, or the maths beating us? Beating the maths, or the maths beating me? Somebody said it might be a sheep. Okay. A sheep can still pass the maths, right? A sheep can still pass the maths. But the goat, go to the grade 1. And the last one, given that there's one here, 4 marks. So CXC will not give away 4 marks like that at all, at all. So these 4 marks, you gotta work for them, right? But it's actually very easy though. So it says given that E is the midpoint of DC. So DC, given that E is the midpoint of that, so the midpoint of that would probably be like here. So E. Given that E is the midpoint of that, they want us to prove that A, P, and E are collinear. 4 marks. So collinear, if you look at the word collinear, it has the word linear inside, which means we're dealing with a line. Co means collinear means we're dealing with a straight line. So basically, we want to show that A, P, and E are in a straight line. All right, and of course, you can't draw it to show. You gotta show it mathematically, right? You can't draw a straight line and say CXC straight line. We gotta show it mathematically. So this one here is a little tight. So yeah, brace. Everybody brace at home. This one is gonna be a little tight. So let's all brace. Please brace. So what we gotta do? Everybody's bracing in the chat. Let's go. So yeah, brace, right? So what we gotta do? We gotta we're dealing with A, P, and E. So first of all, let's find the vector. Let's find the vector AP. So do we know the vector AP? We found AP to be, even if the thing is, watch how CXC was so nice. Even if we don't know to find AP, they already gave us AP here. Even if we didn't find AP, we know to find AP. CXC already gave us AP to be equal to x minus 2y, even if we could not have find it. All right, so yeah, brace. So next thing we want to find is PE. So PE would be simply, we move from P to E in a triangle. So you go P to D. And then we go from D to E. All right. So yeah, everybody brace. Please brace. We still bracing. So PD, we know PD. I think we found PD earlier. We found DP. We found DP to be this. So that means PD would be the minus of that. So PD would be minus X minus Y plus DE now. DE, since E was the midpoint of DC. So E is the midpoint of DC, and we know DC is equal to 3x. So this will be plus half 3x. Well, half times 3x. All right. So this will be simplified to minus x minus y. Half of 3x will simply be plus 3 over 2x. And now we put the like terms together. Let's put the like terms together. So this will be negative x. So we can say 3 over 2x minus y So we can punch this piece in our calculator. Trust that everybody's bracing. I said this one will be a little tight, but brace. The 3/2 minus, I can also put minus 1. This will give us half x minus y. So PE is equal to half x minus y. So we have the vector PE and we have the vector AP. Now, to show that these things are collinear, two things must exist. One, the vectors must be parallel, and two, they must share a common point. So one, they must be parallel. And somebody on the chat, how can we tell if two vectors are parallel? On the chat, sorry, on the Zoom, on the call with me. How can we tell if two vectors are parallel?
One will be a scalar multiple of the other.
So one is a scalar multiple of the other. For two vectors to be parallel, one must be a scalar multiple of the other. So we have the vector AP being equal to x minus 2y, and we have the vector PE being equal to half x minus y. So if we multiply the vector PE by 2, so 2PE, if we multiply the vector PE by 2, we see we will get back AP. If you multiply half x by 2, that will give you x. And if you multiply minus y by 2, that will give you minus 2y, which is exactly what we have at the top here. So we can say 2PE is equal to AP. So this means they are parallel. And the next thing now, they must share a common point. Now, if we look at the vector, if you look at the vector AP and PE, we see they share a common point of P. So P is a common point. We can say therefore A, P, and E are collinear. All right. As I told you, brace, right? Brace. Just brace for this question. We'll move on just now. Just brace. If this one is too tight, nothing is wrong. You could pass and do excellent in exam if this one is too tight for you. All right. So yeah, brace, brace, brace. So everybody finish bracing now, we can now relax. And that is how you show that two vectors are collinear. So yeah, relax now, right? We finish bracing. So in order to, let me just go over. In order to show that two vectors are collinear, we must show that one, they are parallel, and two, they share a common point. So as long as these two things exist, we can say they are collinear. Because therefore, A, P, and E are collinear. Let's hope that they don't bring a question like this year. Or let's hope they do. You never know. People may like this. It's actually very simple once you get it, right? It's very simple once you get it, but sorry. Hope none of my students is saying that this is hard. Ayago. Hi, hi, hi. All right, so let's continue with another. I do. Somebody's asking if I see this in my dream. If I tell you I might vex. If I tell you yeah, I might vex. I see this in my dream, but I could be wrong. Let's hope. Let's hope that I.
Sorry, probably gotta go and try fortune telling.
Let me clean the glasses after the question. Let me clean the glasses. We're going to be seeing clear. All right, this one here, this is a nice one now. These are the other ways in which vectors can come, and this is a bit more child-friendly. This is a bit more child-friendly. So it says the points A and B have position vectors OA, which is equal to -2, 5, and OB, which is equal to 4, 2. Where O is the origin, 0, 0, and the point G lies on the line AB, such that AG is equal to 1 over 3 AB. No, yeah, don't brace. No need to brace. No need to brace for this one. This one is child-friendly. Let's go. So this is expressing the form XY, which is the vector form, AB and AG. So they want us to express AB in vector form. So the thing about expressing AB in vector form, we gotta do the triangular. And one key thing that you should know from the triangular, from the ones that we had above here, whenever we were expressing, we start off with this point here, we go to the next point, we continue from that point, and we go to the end point. All right? So for this here now, for AB, we must start off from A, go to a point, plus continue from that same point and end off with B. All right? So we look at what we are given. We are given OA, we are given OB. But the thing is, even although we are given OA, we also know that we are given AO. We are given AO, because all we need to do is reverse it, right? So if OA is equal to -2, 5, we know we can find AO. All right, and also we're given OB. So you see we have AO and we have OB. So to move from A to B, we move from A to O, and then we continue from O, and we go to B. All right. The important thing, we start off with this point A, we go to a common point, and then we end off with this point here. That is important. That is key. So since we have OA being -2, 5, AO, we just got to flip the sign. So this should be a +2 and a -5, plus OB is same OB. OB is OB. So this would be 4, 2. So we just add these here now. So this would be 2 plus 4, which is 6. And -5 plus 2 would be a -3. So AB is equal to 6, 3. All right, I see a lot of portions added in the chat. Excellent. Love to see it. All right. The next one, they want us to find AG. So this is AG lies on the line such that AB lies on the line AB such that AG is equal to 1/3 of AB. All right, no problem. In order to move from A to G, we got to move from A to O, and then from O to G. So this one is hopefully adding a brace. So we know what AO is. Do we know what AG? So they said that AG lies on the line 1 to. Oh, so no need to do all this work. Sorry, my bad. My bad. No need to do all this. AG is simply equal to 1/3 of AB. So we already found AB. So all we gotta do is 1/3 of AB. No need to do any fancy work. 1/3 of AB. So it'd simply be 1/3 of 6 minus 3, which will just be 1/3, 1 over 3 times 6. 1 over 3 times 6 would simply be 6 over 3, which is 2. And then 1 over 3 times negative 1 over 3 times negative 3 would simply be negative 3 over 3, which is negative 1. All right, so AG is equal to that, 2, negative 1. All right, no need to do any fancy work. And this here was a giveaway 4 mark. How are we looking, chat? How are we looking? What time is it? We started at 7:30, so now it's probably what, 7:45? What time is it? 7:45? Let me see. Next thing they want the position vector OG. They want the position vector OG. Position vector OG. So OG. So how do we find the position vector OG? 2 marks. So we see we move from O to G, so we can probably move from O to something that we know, O to A, and then we can probably move from, since we found AG just now, we can probably move from plus A to G. The thing is, CXC, you will have to use, when you find something, and there's another question to it, chances are you will have to use what you found above to answer the question, right? So in order to find the position vector, we see we move from O to G. So we can find a way to connect O to G. We can move from O to A, and since we just found AG, we can move from A to G. So we know what OA is. We know OA is negative 2, 5 plus AG. We found that just now to be 2, 1. So we see this can be negative 2 plus 2 and 5 plus 1. So this would be negative 2 plus 2 is 0. 5 plus 1 is 6. So 0, 6. Everybody on the Zoom meeting. Are with me there? Everything good so far?
Yes, sir.
Sir AG. So it's 1 and not minus 1.
Where is it? AG?
Yes, sir. You have it as 2 and minus 1 down there, but then you put 1 when you're finding for OG.
Oh, here. Oh, yeah. So that would change the answer. This would be 5 plus negative 1. This would be 0, and 5 plus negative 1. This would turn into a minus. So 5 minus 1 is 4. All right? Yeah. So you got to be careful. Thank goodness we won't be writing maths at 7:46 in the night. It was about 7:46. All right, so OG. Good looking at Kevin. Kevin is focusing. How are you looking, chat? Fire emoji in the chat to everybody. Everybody that more than it. I probably can't see that on YouTube. This video maybe. Anyways, hopefully they will pick up the accent. Everybody was beating this maths. Everybody's beating this maths. Let me see some fire emoji in the chat. No need to see some fire emoji. Okay. All right, so let's see what else we have here. All right, so we can stop bracing, all right? We can stop bracing. We into the easy stuff now. So no need to brace. So this one says, who want to work this one? Anybody on this card want to work this one? And explain. Go ahead and work slowly, please. Don't bother up the food.
Okay, so a line segment joins the points C, negative 5, 6, and D, 7, 2. Calculate the midpoint of the line segment CD. So to calculate the midpoint, we use the formula, which is M is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2 y1 plus y2
Comma.
divided by 2.
Comma, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So m is equal to -5 plus 7.
Let's label the thing for us. Let's label it. That would help us.
Okay, so -5 is x1. 6 is y1. 7 is x2 and 2 is y2. So -5 plus 7 divided by 2, comma. Six plus 2 divided by 2. M is equal to 2 over 2, comma. 8 over 2. Which is equal to the midpoint, 1, 4.
Nice and easy, 2 marks. Well done, Amber. Beat up the maths. Well done. So let's get some fun emoji for Amber. Can I type in the chat too? Let's see. Oh, I can type too. Wow. Didn't know that. So well done. Midpoint is simply that the midpoint, it's a point. So it's just you add up the x values and you divide it by 2. That will give you the midpoint of the x part. Then you add up the y values and you divide it by 2. That will give you the midpoint for the y part. So the midpoint will just be 1, 4. Somebody's in recovery now. Right now, I got no grace. Let's carry on. We into the easy part. We smooth sailing. So next one, you want gradient of CD. So let me go back. So we find an gradient. So the thing is, midpoint is capital M, and gradient is the common M, right? So let's find a gradient. Let me write gradient. Who want to work this one? Anybody? Gradient. Anybody on the call want to work it?
So I can do it.
Yes.
Who's going? Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
So the formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is 2. So it'd be 2 minus 6 and 7
Over.
over 7 plus 5.
Come on,
The
Troy.
two negatives.
Let's write it out. Cut it out. Let me cancel it on the thing.
So 7 minus -5, right? So now it'd be 2 minus 6, which will give you -4. And the two negatives will give you a positive, so it'd be 7 plus 5. It give you 12. Now you just break it down, so it'll be like -1 over 3.
So the gradient is -1 over 3. All right. Gradient is that. All right. So some fire emoji for Troy. Gradient is the change in y over the change in x. That's how I remember the formula. The change in y over the change in x. Change in y over the, yeah. Yes, Jasmine, pinch the marks. I don't know what else. The other words are starting with pinch. pinch the marks. So change in y over the change in x. So yeah, that is a gradient. That is an easy free marks, as we would say. The big man now determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So let me scroll up and zoom out a little. So you want to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of CD. Perpendicular bisector, right? Perpendicular bisector. So there are two keywords here, perpendicular. So let's talk a bit. Let's talk about perpendicular. When two lines are perpendicular, what is the relationship with the gradient? When two lines are perpendicular, what is the relationship with the gradient, with the two gradients? Gradient is a word, yeah, it should be. What's the relationship between the two gradients when two lines are perpendicular?
Sir, when you multiply the two gradients, it should give you -1.
-1, right? When you multiply two gradients, it should be a -1. Good. So first things first. The equation of the straight line, it's y equal mx plus c. That is the equation of the straight line. And the two important things that we need for the equation of a straight line would be one, we need the gradient, and two, we need the y-intercept. We don't need, we can use x and y to find the value of either c or m. But the important things that we need would be the gradient and the y-intercept, which is c. So first of all, we know the gradient of the other line. The gradient of the other line is -1 over 3. So if the gradient of this line is -1 over 3, the gradient of the line that we are interested in, which is perpendicular to this line, the gradient of this line that we are interested in, as I saw somebody said in the chat, it's the negative reciprocal, meaning we just flip it and change the sign. We just flip and change the sign. So instead of -1 over 3, we flip it, which is turned to 3 over 1, and instead of negative, it will be a positive. So we know this 3 over 1 would be the same as 3. So the gradient for the line that we want, which would be the perpendicular line, is 3. So we use the gradient of the other line to find the gradient of the line that we want. So if the gradient of that line is 3, we know m. So we know m is 3. And the thing why we don't put in x and y is because x and y can represent any point on the line. X and y has infinite number of points. Right? So that's why we don't put in x and y, because those two things will vary. Not sure, I don't think so, probably. I'll try just now. So x and y will vary. I'm blocking some people on the chat. Let me see. Let me block some people on the chat. Too late. Force remove the message when you're already been blocked. Yeah. So let's go. So to find anybody else get blocked? Yeah. So to find the to find the y-intercept, we gotta get a point on the line. All right, we gotta get a point on the line. The thing is, it says the perpendicular bisector. So because they use this word bisector, that means the midpoint is involved. So because the midpoint is involved, since it's bisecting, because if you have this line and it's bisecting, the midpoint would fall on both of the lines. So we can use the midpoint of the other line that we found to help us find C. So we know the midpoint is 1, 1, 4. So this is X, this is Y. So we use the gradient and we use the midpoint to find for C. So you know Y would be 4 is equal to 3. Instead of X, it would be 1 plus C. So 4 is equal to 3 times 1 is 3 plus C. So we know C would be equal to, this here is adding, or you take the will subtract, so it would be 4 minus 3. And C is equal to 1. So we have our values for C and we have our values for M. So the equation of the line would be Y is equal to M, which is 3X plus 1. And this would be the equation of the line that we want. All right? Somebody's asked why I'm blocking people. Let me block you too for asking that question. Somebody's asking why I'm blocking people. I'm blocking you for asking that question. All right. So that is how we find the equation of that line. All right. So let me copy this. So the next question says, where it gone? Nope. All right, so the next question says, another line AB is parallel to CD and passes through the point 0, 1. Write down the equation of the line AB. So let me copy back this line here. So it says another line AB is parallel to CD and passes through 0, 1. Write down the coordinates of the line AB. So CD, which one is CD? So do we know the equation of CD? So it says the line is parallel to CD, right? So when when two lines are parallel, what is the relationship with the gradient? When two lines are parallel, what is the relationship with the gradient? Anybody in the chat, when two lines are parallel, what is the relationship with the gradient? Let's not get distracted by the chat. Devil is sending the chat to distract us. All right, so I see Shaf and Shaliza. So they are equal. Yeah, when two lines are parallel, the gradients are equal. So they said that another line is parallel to CD, and we see the gradient for CD is -1/3. So the gradient for CD is -1/3, so it can be this one. So the gradient is -1/3 for CD, and it passes through the point 0, 1, write down the equation of the line AB. So they are parallel, so that means they have the same gradient. So all we can do with the same thing like what we did just now, we already have the gradient. We have 2 points, so we just find for C. So we know the equation is y equal mx plus c. So we know this is x, this is y. So we know y would be 1 is equal to m, which is -1/3, multiplied by x, which is 0 in this case, plus c. So 0 times -1/3, that would just be 0. So this would be 0. So c is equal to 1. So since our value for c is 1, our gradient is -1/3, the equation would be y equal -1/3x plus 1. Nice and easy, 2 marks. All right. Nice and easy, 2 marks. Hey, everybody on the call, y'all. Why y'all looking on your phone? What y'all looking at? What are you looking at?
Oh, nothing, sir.
Troy, are you looking at?
There is this we like say.
Okay. All right. All right, let me just for the persons in the thing, let me just go over, but I won't go over the question. Let me just go over this concept. So whenever you want to write an equation of a straight line, the general form is y equal mx plus c. So the most important, or the two most important things that we need would be one, the gradient, and the y-intercept. So sometimes you may be given the gradient, and you will have to use a point on the line to find the y-intercept. So let me just give you an example. So let's say we have the gradient as 5, and they give you, they tell you that this line passes through the point 1. Let me try to find a nice one by R1, 3. All right, and they want you to find the equation of this line. We have the gradient as 5. So in order to find the equation of this line, we must find with the value for c. So what we do, we take m, we put it inside the equation, and we take this point. So this is x, this is y, and we put it inside the equation. So y would be 3 is equal to m, which is 5, multiplied by x, which is 1, plus c. And then we find for c. So 5 times 1 is 5. This will be 5 plus c equal to 3. So when we take over this 5, take it over to subtract. So we'll have 3 subtract 5 is equal to c. So c is equal to 3 subtract 5 is -2. So our value for c would be -2. Our gradient would be 5. So those are the two most important things that we need when we deal with the equation of straight line, the gradient and the y-intercept. So the equation of this line would be y is equal to 5x minus 2. All right. So let's say they tell you that another line is parallel. Let's say they tell you another line is parallel to this line. They tell you another line is parallel to this line and it passes through the point 2, 0, 2. Now, because the two lines are parallel, what would be the gradient of this other line that is parallel? Why they talk to y'all up here, right? Yeah, wait man, Eloy has been distracted. Anyways, because they're parallel, the gradient would be the same 5. All right, the people in the chat, they're answering me. Good. So the gradient is 5. So we know the gradient is 5 and it passes through the point 0, 2. So we need to find the corresponding y-intercept. So it passes through these 2 points. So it will be, instead of y, it will be 2 is equal to 5, since the gradient, they are parallel, multiplied by x, which is 0, minus c. It's y equal mx plus c. Plus c. So this would be 0. So hence c would be equal to 2. So we have our values for c. Same thing. Why did I give the same equation? Anyway, so we have our value for c. So the equation would be y is equal to 5x plus 2. All right. Anyways, so yeah, that is how we deal with that. Let's end off with these 2 questions. We've been at it a while. We are almost finished. Let's end off with these 2 questions. All right. Since it's the letters, anybody want to work this one in the chat?
Sure, sir.
All right, Sierra, go ahead, read it and work it for us.
Okay, sir. Sir, it says the letter and the word positivity are each written in separate cards and placed in the bag. Daisy picked 2 of these cards at random with replacement. Find the probability that she picks the letter I, then the letter V. So, since there are 10 cards, you'll put 10.
So which one are we dealing with first? The probability of what?
I, sir, I.
Mm-hmm.
So, since there are 3 I's in the set of cards, we'll put 3 over 10. And since there is 1 V, we'll put 1 over 10.
Why putting it over 10 all the time?
Sir, because there's 10 cards.
And why we didn't put it since we take out 3? What did they say to that indicate to us that we must put 10 all the time?
Oh, sir, that we take out 3 of the cards
And this piece, you know.
with replacement. Okay, sir. So now, because I say that, sir, we have to multiply the 3 over 10 by 1 over 10. So 3 over 10 times 1 over 10 will equal to 3 over 100. And that will equal to 0.03.
So because they asked, very good, excellent. So fire emoji for us here in the chat. Let me get some fire emoji. Fire emoji for Sierra. So because they asked us the probability that she picks I and then V, we gotta multiply, right? That is when you want something to happen consecutively, it's highly unlikely that it will happen. So the probability will have to be higher. So we multiply. That's a nice and easy way to try to remember it if you want. All right, so this question caused up a lot of score last year. So just if you understand this, you know, you're good to go. All right, this one. Anybody want to work this one?
Sorry, I could do it.
Who's that? Go ahead.
The diagram below shows a gold bar in the shape of a trapezoidal prism. Its volume is 2,886 cm cubed. The length and height of the prism are indicated on the diagram. Calculate the area of the shaded cross-section of the trapezoidal prism. So we're going to use the formula, which is area times length is equal to volume.
Right,
So
hold on. Volume is equal to Area of what, Amber?
The trapezoidal prism.
Okay, so it's a cross section, right? So the thing is, it's a trapezium, and because it's a sorry, it's a prism. It's a prism. Once it's a prism, the formula to find volume for a prism, it's the area of the cross section multiplied by the height, right?
Yes, sir.
So area of the cross section multiplied by the height, right? Good.
Well, sir, I was gonna say area multiplied by 31.2 is equal to the volume, which is 2,886 cm, and then divide 2,886 cm by 31.2, and that would have given me the area of the shaded cross section.
Excellent, right? Very good. Very good. All right, so the area of the cross section is that is what we want to find. What happened there, right? Yeah, so the area of the cross section, what we want to find. So they give us the volume already. So they give us the volume being equal to 2,886. Let's leave out cm squared for now, cm cubed for now. Is equal to the area of the cross section. So I'll just say area for short, multiplied by the height. Now the height, don't be carried away. The height cannot be this. The height would be if we are to turn this shape like this, the height would be here, right? Remember, we basically find the area for this piece and we multiply it by the height to give us the volume of this entire thing. So the height here is 1.2. So to find for the area of the cross section, we just simply, as Amber said, we take over his 1.2 over the equal sign. All right, so this would be 2,886 divided by 1.2 is equal to the area. So the area would simply be equal to, what do we get, Amber?
92.5 cm squared.
92.5?
Yes, sir.
92.5 cm squared. All right. Yeah, so that's the answer. I advise you have to ignore the forces in the chat. Those forces, they don't really care about they don't really care about passing and they just want to distract you. If you are weak-minded, you will allow yourselves to be distracted, right? Don't allow yourselves to be distracted by weak-minded individuals that don't really care too much about passing or care too much about you passing, right? Nevertheless, so we'll end off here for tonight. We'll end off here for tonight. We covered a lot of topics. We've been at it for about 1 hour. I think we did a lot. Trust that this live was helpful. So I'll see y'all. Probably we may come again or we may not. All right, so best wishes and everybody sitting their exam.